Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to take a look at TinkerCAD. TinkerCAD is a free and easy to use 3D modeler. In the context of this channel, we're going to be looking at how to then export those models as OBJ files. That way they will be compatible with game engines such as Unity. However, if you're looking to use TinkerCAD for other purposes, these tutorials will still help you. So in this tutorial, we're just going to look at the basic shapes and the settings for those shapes because the settings are so robust that effectively you can turn one shape into an entirely different shape. And so I think that's a good place to start. There are specific tools which are going to get their own tutorials, but we'll start with just the shape and the shape generators. So once you created your profile, all they want is an email address. They do ask for a date of birth, but there's no verification. So I suppose you could put in whatever date you want. They don't want like a name or address or anything like that. And then that's it. You can then click on the logo in the upper left corner to get to the dashboard. As you can see, I'm logged in as me. And then you would just click on 3D designs and then create new design. As you can see, this is browser-based. So for some people, that is a non-starter, which is your choice. But so far, I haven't noticed any lag. And all the keyboard shortcuts that you'd be used to, like Control-C, Control-V, Control-Z, they all work just as if you're in an application. So all that kind of muscle memory you're used to, like Control-Z to undo, those all work. But again, it's your decision if you do or do not wish to work in a browser. Basic navigation. Right mouse click, hold down the right mouse button and move to rotate. You can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel, and then if you press down on the scroll wheel and then move, you can pan left, right, up, and down. As I mentioned in this video, we're not going to look at any tools per se. We're just going to look at the settings for basic shapes and then the shape generators, because again, it's such a robust set of settings that you can effectively turn one shape into another, and then we'll have separate tutorials for the actual tool set. So we're just going to do these one at a time and pretty quickly. A little bit rapid fire here. So as you can see, once you create the shape, you have the baked in settings. So you don't have like a separate custom tool settings. It's just part of the shape when you create it. So you can change the radius and you'll see it takes these edges and smooths them out. Steps, you can make it even smoother. And then if you reduce the steps to an extreme, you've effectively created a new shape. And then you can combine these. So if you increase radius, you've created yet another shape. You've basically created like a gem. So even though it's a box, you've really created an entirely different shape. And then you've got something fairly different here. And again, depending on the combination of steps and radius, you can actually make something really interesting. Length, width, and height is just scaling, which you can do with the typical built-in points. As you can see, these control points let you scale or move the object or rotate the object. Cylinder, we'll just drop this here. Sides, not really anything major there. For a bevel, you can do this. And now again, you've kind of changed it to a different shape. Like if you're using this for a game, this would look like some kind of power-up or something. And then segments, you can smooth it out. Let's make this one more angular though, since the one next to it is smooth. Sphere. Again, you can change this into a different shape by changing steps, so you can smooth this out or drop it to an extreme, and now you basically have a gem. Scribble. This will give you its own interface, so you're now basically looking top down, and now you can just draw like a regular paint program. And you can erase like a regular paint program. It's extraordinarily powerful. You can also draw with a shape, and you can erase with a shape. And we'll just erase that. And then you just hit done, and there's that shape. And then you can edit the scribble again. Roof, I don't think there's anything special there. Nope. Whenever you see this hole, that is going to be a separate tutorial that is comparable to the subtract tool in 3D Builder. It's just the way that TinkerCAD uses it is somewhat different as far as how to actually make it work, how to apply it, and so that will be its own tutorial. It's a very powerful tool. Cone. So if you change the top radius rather than 0, you basically can turn this into like a lampshade. Base radius just makes the base wider. Height, sides, again, if you reduce the sides to an extreme amount, you've turned a cone into a tetrahedron because it's 3 sides and a base. If you increase this to 4, that's a pyramid, although it's a separate pyramid object, so I really don't need it, but you could do that. You can turn it into, go 5 sides. If you shrink this down, this will basically turn it into a star, although we have a separate star setting. So that was cone. Rounded roof, this one doesn't have any interesting settings. Sorry, rounded roof, nothing personal. Text. So you can change the height. Oops. Why did it just redo that? That was weird. I think it was because it was shrunk too short that it couldn't calculate it, so it defaulted. So that was interesting. You can do a bevel. So if we zoom in, give this, you can see it's given it a bevel, and then segments to smooth it out. If you go to an extreme, or if you back up a little bit, you can see it's more angular. And then we'll just shrink this because this is way too big. And now I'm just using the typical kind of built-in tools that you would have for scaling, rotating, moving, translate. Okay, so that was text. So wedge, nothing special there. Again, we've got pyramid. Sides can be changed. So again, you can do a tetrahedron. You can basically make it a cone or something in between. Half sphere, nothing special there. I'd kind of like to see a setting that like lets you make that hollow or something, but again, we can use the hole tool to make that happen. Polygon, so how many sides does it have? So again, we've really changed it to a different shape. Turn it into a cylinder there. Bevels, segment, very similar to that one. If I get rid of the segments, although that one is smoother. I believe that was the cylinder one. So we don't want it to look the same, so we'll do that. Paraboloid. And again, you can do something extreme like that. To me, if you change this to like a 4 or a 5, to me that looks like a tent, like a camping tent. And then you could just scale this down. Torus. So for this, you can change the radius, so bigger or smaller. How much of a tube is it? So this is kind of the inner radius. You can change sides. So again, you've effectively made an entirely different object. It's more like a disc. You change the steps, and so now it's more of a triangle. Tube. So radius. Wall thickness, so you can make this thinner or thicker. Sides. Again, you can make it a different shape. Bevel. Bevel segments. Almost done with the basic shapes, and then we'll look at the generators because they have a different tool set. So that was tube. I don't think heart has really anything. Star has some interesting settings. You can change the inner radius so you can make it thinner or more full. You can actually change the points. Like if you drop it to 4, looks more like maybe a ninja star. Lots of points. Is that star? A different star. So this one's just fixed. I'm not going to leave that one there. Nothing special. This one, no special settings there. Ring. Now this one has this different interface, and this is you're going to see again when we go to the generator. It's not as evident here because this one, since it's so thin, you're not really noticing. But with this, you can like give it some thickness. You can modify so there's like an indentation. So like if I do that, see how there's like it's hollow now? Remember how I was saying it would be nice if you could make that hollow? And we'll get into that a little bit more. Dice, just that, no special settings. Diamond, no special settings. Okay, so those are the basic shapes, and now we will go to the shape generators, and you're going to see that similar kind of interface that you just saw on that one there. So like if we go to extrusion, again, you can change the actual well, the other ones you were deforming as well. So this is a little bit more like other 3D modelers where you're actually starting to modify points, but even still, that's very basic. I won't go through all these. This would be a very long video, but you can see things like sketch height, inside diameter, number of sides. So you just turned it into like into like tweezers or tongs. Sketch rotation, revolve angle. So you can bring it all the way back. Not sure the pictures for. Says upload and revolve any 2D SVG shape. That's probably going to be its own tutorial. I'm not going to pretend to know the parameters of that. I don't know that offhand. So probably its own tutorial. So softbox, and I'm not going to go over these. I'll probably just do enough to fill up the image, and then this will be my thumbnail. So the dimension, Y dimension, Z dimension, wall. So again, changing thickness, outer radius, can make it smooth, round. Spring, this has some interesting ones. So this is R1. Okay, so you can see its thickness, R2. Again, so it's radius, I believe, is what they're talking about there. Offset, so you can stretch this more. And then rotations, you can put more springs. Bend pipe. So if you're creating like a piping system, you could do like what's the the outer width, the wall thickness. So in other words, if we zoom in, you can see it. We filled it up by doing that. We closed it. So if we do wall thickness, oops, either. Oh, there we go. So you can see it's hollow now. It's a little bit hard to see, but it is basically hollow. Arc diameter. So basically the arc meaning this here. Bend angle. Lead in length, so that's changing one side. Lead out length, changing the other. Isometric. So I think I'm just about done. I don't want to waste anyone's time because again, this is free. You can go download, well, not download, you can just go to the website right now if you really wanted to. I'll just do a couple more. This one's kind of interesting. So basically this is something that's fractured. So what you can do is you can create how fractured it is. Well, that's just the size, but the cell spacing, is there a lot of space in between? Cell height, peaks. So if you want to have this actually be like a surface, you could do that. You can vary the heights, curved words, custom font text, snap and socket, adjustable box, round, windmill. I think that's just about it. There's actually a ton more, but I'm not going to go through all of them because these shape generators, like for US states, you click on this and then you can just choose what state, like say California, Massachusetts. Other ones for countries. We've got ones for walls. So we got a brick wall here, so you can change the height, the width, the depth, grout to brick ratio. So in other words, how much space is there between the bricks because the grout is what's holding it together. Depth noise, placement noise, um, things like that. So won't leave that one. That one's kind of big. And you got several versions. Like you've got this one, which is more rounded. And I'm not going to go through all these because there are just too many. So if you want to see more of these, just let me know. But again, like I said, you could just go to TinkerCAD and test with these yourself. Again, the reasons why I do these free applications is for awareness. And also, there isn't necessarily a lot of information out there. This does come with a few baked-in tutorials, but oddly, a few of them seem to be missing items when I attempted to use them. Okay. So I think that's about it. A lot of this is really just highly specific ones that you could use. And this really addresses something that I've complained about for a very long time from Unity, as well as 3D Builder, as well as Paint 3D. And the fact is that for some reason, they all came with a very limited amount of primitives and pre-made shapes, and there's really no excuse for it. There's no reason why they can't give more shapes. And here's TinkerCAD, free to use with all these built-in shapes and highly malleable. They're not just primitives. You can make all these changes to them that you want. So I think that's about it. I don't want to drag this out, and so I think that going forward, I will probably not cover 3D Builder. I'll leave all the tutorials in place. No reason to delete them. There are people who still use 3D Builder, but I think going forward, this is going to be my go-to 3D modeler. Particularly, it checks all the same checkboxes as far as being free. It's very intuitive. It takes an approach that's not technical, that it takes this approach of you're basically carving away at shapes. I didn't show you the whole tool. That will probably be the next tutorial. I'm hoping there's something simple. Excuse me. There's something similar to the split tool in 3D Builder. You could create a plane, angle it, move it, and then split an object. I'm hoping there's something like that in TinkerCAD because that and the subtract tool, that alone made 3D Builder very powerful. But again, from what I'm seeing, they're taking a similar approach where they're kind of hiding the vertices, they're hiding the edges, they're hiding the facings, and that it's this more malleable type of object. Is again, you're kind of whittling or carving away. So if you enjoyed this, please leave a like, please leave a comment if there's something that you would like to see, and please enjoy the rest of your day.